You know, it's a bit of a bummer when Europe is about to lurch to the right politically. We here in Britain, we're about to elect a left-wing Labour government. And let's be honest, it's the woke establishment, the lefties, who have ruled the roost here in the UK for quite some time. We had an ultra uber left-wing SNP up in Scotland. We've got a similar party in Wales under Welsh Labour. And let's face it, the Tories aren't Tories at all, are they? They fought against Brexit. They're pushing for net zero. They're doing absolutely nothing to protect our borders. And they're supporting the prolonged war in the Ukraine with our tax money. Now you try telling me those are the actions of a Conservative party. Anyway, now is the time, I believe, to unite the right. And no, being right-wing doesn't necessarily mean far-right. The term far-right is just something the left like to fling at us when they run out of arguments, and that's quite often. Now, Nigel Farage was on LBC Radio this morning with Nick Ferrari, and it was a bit of an eye-opening interview. And the first thing he said, which caught my attention, was his statement when he said that he would be prepared to lead a Reform-Conservative combination after the election. And people are already jumping on this by suggesting he shouldn't be making deals with the Tories after they betrayed him the first time round. Well, let's just look at what he said. He said that he'd be prepared to lead that coalition rather than bring his party over under a Conservative leader. So I'm supporting this. I think this is a good idea. It would be great to have a coalition with the Tories, however, not a coalition in which they control. And besides, Farage would only ever do a coalition with a party in which he totally dominates. And I think it's that kind of mechanism that could bring people round. And let's face it, folks, the Conservative Party, it's dead. It's finished. A coalition like this, under a Reform Nigel Farage-dominated control, is more likely to snap the Conservatives into thinking like Conservatives again. Because I think the true Conservatives are all over in Reform. But that's just my opinion. However, the most disappointing bit of this interview was when he said he wants nothing to do with Tommy Robinson. Now, if only these political leaders would just sit down and talk to the guy. But such is the guy's demonisation by the woke establishment and the left on social media and the mainstream media that they have successfully made him too toxic for political leaders. However, Tommy Robinson resonates with ordinary folk. Remember, Tommy Robinson has so much clout and pulling power. 20-odd thousand people joined that march earlier this month. And that's 20-odd thousand potential Reform voters. In fact, I can guarantee you the majority of those people will vote Reform anyway. So has Nigel Farage missed a trick here with Tommy Robinson? I personally think he has. However, here's another way of looking at it. Can you imagine the grief from the mainstream media and the whole of Parliament if he endorses Tommy Robinson? And then Tommy Robinson gets all the media attention when it should be on Farage. And as we all know, Farage does like the limelight, doesn't he? But regardless, I will still vote Reform. I think Nigel Farage is the guy to lead it. But I only wish the guy had the bollocks and the foresight to reach out to people who the public resonate with. And then perhaps he won't even need a coalition with the Tories at all. There we go. What do you guys think? Please let me know in the comments. And that's that. Time past 49. Thanks for listening. And Roger Trout.